So when you started your business, like outside of washers and dryers, like we need washers and dryers to do the laundry business. What was like the first next thing, or what was the next solution, technology wise, that you needed to be able to run your business? Let's start with Natalie.
So you're asking what technology I needed or what we're doing? I'm not sure I understand.
Yeah, just like what, like everybody needs washers and dryers to run a laundry business. So what was the next thing, or what was the most important thing after that? Or what was one of the basic things that you needed to make sure you had in order to run your business?
I mean, in order to, to grow the business, obviously needed to do the pickup and delivery. Our employees are huge for us. I mean, we have to have the most dependable people that we can have. I mean, we have two drivers. We have, what do we have? Seven employees altogether. And we're just, I mean, they're like the meat and bones of the place for us. I mean, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. is what is that? 16 hours a day. I mean, we're open 16 hours. West Palm Beach doesn't allow you to be open 24 hours, nor do I even think I would really want to be. But our employees, I mean, they're up at, the crack of dawn and just having them, be reliable to be here every single day. The drivers who are coming and going and running around, I think that's kind of like what we need. But at the same time, you have to have the technology. There's so much technology involved. We don't use quarters. We don't have quarters. We're a fully laundry card. Um, we these are our laundry cards. Everybody owns one of these cards that comes in. If they don't have one, they've got to buy one. But we're on laundry cards, so we don't do quarters. Everything is we're cashless, so we're completely cashless. So, you know, credit cards or laundry cards are kind of like what we use in terms of, but everything has to be working, and technology is it's rough, like our machines. Everything's got to be up and running, everything has to be working in order for us to be able to run the day. So between the technology and our workers, I think that's what you like, the things that you have to have, that's what you have to have here. I mean, I've never understood like a non-attendant laundromat. Like, I don't understand, that boggles my mind. People have to be here. Someone's got to be here. And if you're not here, you don't know if anything's broken, what needs to be fixed. People might lose money in the machine, what they're putting the dollars in. There has to be people, that's the
Mhm.
like the basics of it all. So yeah, that's pretty
Mhm.
much for us the needs, for a
Okay.
daily run well laundromat.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And what I heard really like the technology piece, like that's a great point, is like, how do people pay for their laundry services, right? And there is a trend in the industry to go cashless. There's a trend in the
The
probably
world.
the world, right? Like since the pandemic, all the things. Um, so I really appreciate you shouting that out. And also, it reminded me that as this is a Coin Laundry Association sponsored event, we are CLA is very brand agnostic. So for those of you that are listening in, if you hear something and you say like, Natalie, I want to know what company you're using for your card. That's why I asked them
Mhm.
to put their email address in the chat box. You can reach out to them directly and find out what they're using specifically, because we won't really be talking about brands today. But if there's piece of equipment or a piece of technology that is really helping somebody move their business forward, then I invite any of you and all of you to connect with one another outside of this meeting. So thank you, Natalie, for getting us started. Hannah, you want to jump in?
Yeah. I think beyond that, our next most important piece of technology, and we use it almost around the clock, is our point of sale system. Our point of sale system does so much for us. It generates marketing campaigns for us, and those run as scheduled. So, like while we're gone this week, our marketing campaigns were already scheduled ahead of time. I'm not having to be in the store. I'm not having to be logged into my computer unless I choose to do that. So it runs our marketing campaigns. It gives me every metric I could ever imagine plus more. I'm a data junkie, and so I love that. It's great for me. But I can see who's satisfied, who's not. I can see who's doing the amount of poundage that they're supposed to be doing versus they're not. So I can identify weaker links in basically any area of my business just off that one piece of technology, just from our point of sale system. We have customer communication. They can text us directly if they have a question about their order, or they're like, hey, I forgot to tell you to spot treat this green shirt that I spilled mustard on. That literally happened last week. Like, I'm like, yes, Larry, I have it taken care of. You got it. So also it generates customer reviews for us, which is huge. So we have over 600 5-star Google reviews, which in today's day and age, like, that is how people find you. If you don't get anything else out of this, you need a Google page and you need to be collecting those reviews, because we get people that pass through. We're on 35. People pass through, they're like, hey, my kid got sick in the car. I need to do this before we get to grandma's house. Who closest laundromat to me? Boom, it pops up. We have all these 5-star reviews. They're going to show up. So that alone, you don't have to do any legwork for that. So anyway, I'm big into that. So also our POS gives us pickup and delivery scheduling for customers on demand on their schedule. But we also have geofencing. So we geofence certain areas during certain days so that our drivers are, so we're basically creating our own routes without the customer knowing. So we run certain zones of our towns on certain days, and then that goes into our calendar. So when they go into schedule, if they live on the north side of town, they're only available for pickup on Thursdays and Fridays. So again, just with that one piece of technology, it also has an app for our driver. So it automatically routes them based on what they have for the day, that they're not having to pull out their piece of paper and Google Map where they're going, or MapQuest. That shows my age. They don't have to MapQuest to get where they're going. It also generates promos and coupons. We can do that. We do that through text messaging and email. They don't have to have a paper copy or anything to come in, and we can base that based on dates, how their dollar spend, how often they're coming in, all those types of things. We also have a loyalty program, and they're able to get gift cards, both hard copy and e-gift. So if, grandma lives in Washington, where you are, Monica, and her daughter lives here, and she just had a baby, and she's like, hey, how can I support my daughter? I can buy her an e-gift card where she gets pickup and delivery to her house. She doesn't have to leave with her newborn, and everything's taken care of. And it's literally through that one piece of software. So if we didn't have our POS system, I won't say brands, you can email me. We'll talk about it. We wouldn't be where we are, especially running 4 different locations, and they're all interconnected. So we can have somebody that visits our Ada store and then goes to Paul's Valley the next week, and everything's connected. Their notes, their services, their preferences, everything's connected. So it's beautiful.
I love that. I have a follow-up question for you, Hannah. Have you used the same software solution this whole time, or did you evolve into the solution that you're in now?
So we have had the same system from the beginning. So we did a lot of research before we started. I told you I'm a data junkie. I'm also a nurse, so I did a ton of research. That's just kind of my niche anyway. And so coming into this, we did a lot. We tested a lot. I think we visited over 100 different laundromats before we opened our first one. So we were some road warriors. And so it served us well in that space for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, Katisha, how about you? Technology outside of washers and dryers?
Yes, so I'll say, like I noted, before the fire, I did have, I was using various platforms, which I don't agree with. I mean, you definitely want to streamline everything from in one, which now I'm using, and I'll talk from that perspective. But it's important, as Hannah was talking about, as you have different services that you offer, that you're not manually doing anything. You want to be able to log in from wherever you are, to be able to manage your business. I know one of the things I knew I had to have was automated locking doors, automated lighting system, because I did not want anyone to be responsible for turning the lights on or off, or unlocking the front door, or locking the front door. And so those to me were good, you know, that was a no-brainer for me. And also to have an alarm system that you can disable and arm anywhere from, you know, from your home if you're on vacation, or you can set a timer so it'll arm and disarm at, you know, at a set time, you know. So those were, you know, when it came to operations, those were very key for me. In that. And again, I have a family, so, you know, I'm getting kids ready for school in the morning, you know, so that's one less thing I need to be thinking about. If somebody say, I can't find my key to open up the front, you know, those type of things. You just, you know, you don't want that. I didn't need that. So, those are, definitely, and it's funny because I had a mentor he's still my mentor at the time, and he told me that's not going to work. How can you run a business that way? You know, he was a very successful laundromat owner, but he had ran laundromats for 30 years and was in retirement. And for him, waking up every morning, being there all day, closing up, that was the key to success. And so, you know, you have to make it into what you need it to be, you know. And so that was a key, that was a lesson for me to learn that, yeah, you have great people around you, but you know, you got to find what's going to work for you in your situation. So yeah, so those three things, as I noted: security system, automatic door locking, lighting on a timer, and then also to being able to track, you know, your inventory with you know, your POS system. I was all quarters before the fire, and I hated that. I mean, you know, trying to count all that stuff, and then you accidentally drop it and the quarters roll out everywhere, and then you having a, oh my gosh, it just was it was just oh, y'all know the feelings. And so, you know, that was one of the things that I was like, okay, from a phased approach of growing the business. You know, some people take a phased approach, but I believe now that go for it on that first go round. You know, I think that do it scared. That's one of the things I wish I would have done when I first opened in 2017. It's had all the card system, the debit card, all that from the beginning. I have it now, but I didn't. But what I did have, I was using geofencing, like Hannah was, you know, pickup and delivery. That was a game changer for me, having a database where everybody just is in there and you can offer different, you know, hey, promotions, and also making sure it's streamlined with your accounting system too. That's key too. You know, there's some systems, they're great, but you know, you want to make sure that they play well with what you use for your accounting. You know, if it's QuickBooks, I don't know what you might use, but that was key for me. And so I was glad to have a system that could upload into QuickBooks. I'm not gonna say seamlessly, but I could do it. So those things, even the text messaging, I was using even my phone system. You know, I like the automated, you know, I was using Uma, and where somebody call and you can, you know, they get a automatic operator. Welcome to, you know, you can type into the system what you want the operator to say, press 1 for this, press 2 for this, press 3 for that. So that helped too, also with managing calls, you know, so that was a plus. Also too, I would say you know, and I would say, we could try to do things on our own, but I'd like to lean on the fact of dealing with the experts. You know, I was the one that was trying to build my own website, and I have an IT background, so there's some things I could do. But I realized too that even though I can do it, I wasn't the best person to do it. My time was very valuable, and that's something that I've learned now, that sometimes it's better just to pay somebody else to do it. I mean, really, you know, you think you're saving money, you're really not. Uh, you're
Yeah,
really
what's
not
the
saving
what's
money.
the price versus the cost, right?
Yeah, you're
What do you
really,
pay
it's
for it versus the cost?
absolutely, Monica.
Yeah,
You're really not saving money, and you're definitely not saving time.
yeah,
So I think, you know, making sure within your advancement that you hire people that are proficient, and that's what they do. So then that way, you know, you can give those things away and you can focus on building the business and being the CEO of the business. Trying to think of anything else that Hannah or Natalie didn't talk about that really helped me a lot. You mentioned Google Business, and I don't think people understand. I think people underutilize the free stuff. But you're right in regards to the Google Business page. I mean, you really, that's great. Oh, I forgot. There's also a way that when people come in, you can collect their information when they get online, get on your Wi-Fi. That's also an opportunity to collect information from your customers. So, you know, they just like when you go to a hotel and in order to get on their Wi-Fi, you gotta log in, you know, you gotta put in your email address or your text or what have you. They collect that information, you know, and that's also a good service I think that you can look into as a laundromat owner or potential in regards to being able to collect information from those that are there, because in that way you can text them promotions, you know, you can or email them depending on which, you know, route you go with. You know, I know Jamie is a great friend of CLA. She leans towards getting phone numbers versus email addresses. And so that I think that's a great you know, service to add when it comes to promotions. If you don't have a system already in place that's built into what you have, that doesn't do that for you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a laundry list of technology to see what I did there. Technology to consider as you're either building or evolving your laundromat.